morning, all, and thank you for joining us for the webinar on hiring trends, how to re-engineer the top tech hiring in partnership with HackerRank. I am Shweta from People Matters, and before speaking about today's agenda, let me give you a brief about today's topic. To find the right talent is a cumbersome process. There are several repercussions if hiring techies go wrong. A company usually goes through a series of processes to make sure the techies hired are fitting the job role, the amount of time it's required to train them, the money involved, and not to mention the time wasted for the wrong hire. So, how do we re-engineer the top hiring techies? In this webinar, we will discuss what are the latest trends that are being incorporated in hiring strategies, how technology supports recruitment and plays a pivot role in tech hiring, why organizations need to adopt latest trends in tech hiring, and how organizations can adopt latest trends in their hiring strategies. Let me now introduce you to our speakers for the webinar. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Sumathi Sampath, Head Talent Acquisition, Infosys BPO. With more than 19 years of rich experience, Sumathi has held various leadership roles in talent management and development, employee relation and retention, performance management, reward and recognition, resourcing compliances, and compensation and benefits. Sumathi has worked with organizations like ANZ, Thomson Reuters, Standard Chartered Bank, IIT Madras Tenet Group, and Midas Communication Technologies. We also have with us Harishankaran Karunanidhi, co-founder HackerRank. After a short stint with IBM, Hari co-founded HackerRank, which became the first company from India to be chosen for the prestigious incubator program at Y Combinator. At HackerRank, he is responsible for product delivery and scaling the core platform where developers from all over the world come to solve interesting challenges in different domains of computer science, such as artificial intelligence, algorithms, machine learning, etc., for fun, glory, learning, and jobs. Our partner for today's webinar is HackerRank. HackerRank, founded in 2011, is the first Indian company to be selected for an incubation program by Y Incubator. Headquartered in the USA, Interview Street has two main offerings, HackerRank and HackerRank for Work. The publicly accessible platform found at HackerRank.com is a community where coders go to compete for fun, education, prizes, and jobs. Programming problems span several domains, including artificial intelligence and algorithms. Companies can also participate on this platform by sponsoring challenges that can include real-world problems that any coder in the world can compete to try and solve. We have saved time for you to ask your questions at the end of the webinar. For those attending the live webinar, you can submit your questions anytime during the presentation through the Q&A tab. We will try to respond to as many questions as the time allows. So I am super excited to hear what our speakers have in store for us today. So without any further delay, let the experts take over now. Sumathi and Hari, over to you.
Thank you, Shweta. Good morning, all. Acquiring the right talent can make a huge difference for an organization. Most of the organizations have recognized this need, and they are using technology to come up with innovative means to make the whole hiring process smooth and effective. Gone are the days where pen and paper are used for assessment, for documentation, evaluation, analysis, metrics. Nowadays, everything is automated. This is mainly to eliminate the need of manual errors and other errors that could occur. I'd like to quote a small example here from an interesting survey. India will soon be one of the youngest countries in the world. By 2020, 50% of our qualified workforce are going to be millennials. Hence, we need to change our hiring strategy to support their mindset. Millennials are raised on technology and they do not accept many legacy concepts. The recruiters need to now connect and engage them through technology. So technology plays a very important role in the future because most of the millennial times are now spent on tablets or smartphone. We need to think and work or see, for example, if our career websites are more mobile friendly, and can candidate apply directly through their mobile, or would they get a response on their mobile? We are in the age of VUCA. VUCA driven by SMAC. So we will have to change our hiring strategy according to the current age. Technology can certainly cut down transactions, mitigate risk, can bring in transparency, avoid error, can throw up useful analytics. It can save cost, it can save your time. Earlier, sourcing was primarily a skill honed by the recruitment market, but now it is all automated by several tools, which reads the resume, it scores, and stack ranks them for all our recruiters. It also helps us to continuously learn and analyze what is the right fit and what is not right. So, next in pipeline is the technology that is trying to figure out if candidates are similar to the people in your team, or your best performers, or is the best fit. So this is used by a very simple matching system which is available. So what happens is when you feed a prototype profile of your employees, and when a candidate applies, it tends to kind of check and see whether it is matching or all the desired qualities are available and what is the overlap. So by this you save a lot of time, and also you make sure that the fitment are right, because bringing in the right fit is the most important role. The other trend is now it is the key role that tech plays is by indexing and analyzing data from different media, let's say from social and professional network, from online forums, from communities that bring the talent to the hiring team. We can use predictive analytics and science on top of this data, and it could definitely bring in best fit to your organization. From resume search to interview, we are moving towards a digital hiring model with innovative assessment and filtering technique, which helps us to provide a 360-degree holistic view of the top applicants. There are a lot of candidate search tools that are available, that helps you to get the candidates. It has also opened up much more wider talent pool for the recruiters. These tools make sure that they link with other tools or speak to other tools as well, and also reach the other community. Applying intelligence to summarizing the important candidate information will increasingly get the big data treatment. We also have video recording these days. This is mainly for the remote candidates, or if you have to have a global call, and they're actually making inroads with different recruiting systems or ATS, and ensuring that their products work within the applicant tracking environment. Technology also plays a major role in employer branding. This is becoming very prevalent today, and it helps to engage proactively with the bright candidate, also with the passive candidate. Because nowadays candidates feel that, positioning themselves, ranking themselves, they do all this on their websites or in social media. So branding plays a very important role to attract these passive candidates and bring them, or even brand yourself for the future potential candidates. So technology supports in a very major way. Thanks to social media again, which embraces technology well and reaches to unlimited folks. Nowadays people speak their mind and share their thoughts. This is a very effective channel, again, to attract passive candidates, to reach out to mass media, to showcase. Well, big data also here again plays. By using social data, this helps to identify potential candidates who are likely to be open for opportunities that are available. Again, technology plays a major role in all our campus hiring, where as earlier assessments were done only through pen and paper, and it would take a long time, to get the results or get the feedback or inform the candidates or let them know. But nowadays it's all done, it's remotely done, it's handled, and then the feedback is given then and there. There is an analysis that is being done, so the tool kind of supports you in many ways and reaching out many people. We also hear a lot about cloud-based hiring tools, which helps to integrate with multiple systems. It can be interfaced with internal systems like your manpower planning and requirement. It gets you the approval, enables structured and accurate real-time reporting. It helps in automated job distribution to job board, which also allows recruiters and hiring managers to easily and affordably find, evaluate, and organize the right fit candidates. So technology would continue to play a major role. A lot of enhancement also happening. We all have moved way forward, but still we'll have to keep ourselves abreast on what's happening. As I said, 50% of our workforce are going to be millennials, and they do not like the legacy system. So we need to again abreast ourselves, make sure that we connect with them through technology. Reports, different kind of metrics and reports that are prepared, again, are well supported, which can be shared with the business. And we could get in meaningful data, focus on improvement, where we have gone well, where we are not gone well, what are the tools can also now come up with effective methodology wherein it could show you where we have gone well, which is the most cost-effective methodology, which brings you most quality candidates. So there are quite a lot of trends that's happening in the industry. So I think it is our ability to stay on top of the technology trend with supportive data could be the biggest advantage going forward. As I said, we are in the VUCA world, which is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, and which is being driven by SMAC. SMAC is social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. So we need to harness this, and we need to keep this in mind and start using the recruiters. Now their jobs are moving from recruitment to a talent acquisition role, because they don't have to spend their time on administrative work or documentation or filling. So we need to use these tools and technology that is available so that we could spend quality time on bringing in the right fit, also showcasing to the business a better strategy, so that we could bring them early. It's all about finding the right people who could contribute to the company in a very positive way, and technology will ensure that we find the right hire and ultimately saving your business time. So, Hari, I'd like to hear your views as well on this.
Hey, Sumathi. Thanks for your insights on the topic. I mean, there is a lot to learn from this discussion and a lot of takeaways from this. So I'm going to talk about re-engineering the tech hiring process, and specifically more on hiring for the technology positions. Right. So going to the first slide, every company today is a tech company. For example, if you think of Uber or Ola, right? You don't think of these as your cab service companies. These are actually solving problems, real world problems, using technology. Starbucks has its own payment wallet, like our Paytm or PayPal, where if you go into a Starbucks, you can use this wallet to pay, and they have built this amazing technology through which they've had more than 4 million transactions in the last few months. Another example is like, retail just Walmart has Walmart Labs, which has more than 2,000 developers or technologists. Like, they have great team of data scientists. So every company is slowly becoming a tech company, and there is no way to hide from this. Either you become a tech company or you die is the way companies are approaching this, and this is a fact. So there is a clear need for talent. This means the same pool of talent is going to be addressed by all the companies. There is an increased demand doesn't really give an increased supply, because a lot of tech talent out there is mediocre. They don't really understand what companies are looking for. There is it starts with the engineering courses we have in college. They are so far away from what the industry wants. The syllabuses have been formed way back. So what they are going to learn and what is needed is completely way off. And this affects the companies a lot, because this is going to increase your screening time. So if you know that out of 100 folks, you have only 2 who are really good, then you do have to screen all the 100 to get the right talent of those 2 engineers. So the companies now have to compete even more harder. Like now there is a fight for the best top 2 in this case, among all the engineers among all the people you are going to conduct your recruitment piece with. And talented employees now these days get a lot of offers. Like it's very common to see people with multiple offers these days. That's mainly because there is obviously a talent war, and everyone they want to hire the best talent out there. So this means companies need to stay ahead of the curve. Like they need to innovate at every step, whether it comes to the initial sourcing part, the assessment part, the interviewing, the whole candidate experience. You need to make sure you're doing way better than the competition, so that candidates are delighted by your whole process and they see that value in your company. So looking back at what we have been doing till now, and we have to keep re-engineering the current process so that we get the best results. So we will look into some of the processes which we do and how we can make those processes better in the following slide. So of course, one thing which is really important in this case is to stay updated with the new trends and technology. This is like the best way to make sure you attract the right talent out there. For example, there are Twitter chats and webinars like this to ensure you get the latest technology trends happening in the recruitment industry. So these are in general, these are the 4 steps you would always have in your any hiring process. You're going to source the candidates. You're going to screen them based on particular skill sets. Then there are interviews, and there is your hiring process. No matter which company you take, whatever size it is, you can kind of boil down the entire process into these 4 steps. And we want to make these 4 processes better and smarter so that it attracts the tech talent out there in a better way than what they are doing today. So sourcing is earlier it used to be like, hey, buy database from LinkedIn or Naukri and mail all of them and let's see how the results look like. And now LinkedIn changed the whole strategy. Now it's more like, hey, instead of buying a database, I'm going to buy a set of LinkedIn emails, and I'm going to try to mass mail all the folks who are in your target area radar, and you are going to wait for folks to reply, and if they reply, then you continue the conversation there. So that seems to be the current process, and it's not optimal. Like the best talent out there, they are probably getting lots and lots of emails every day, and you want to do something better. So there are interesting ways in which you can completely change the sourcing ballgame so that you attract the right talent out there. A couple of ways which worked out for us is like hosting your own hackathon. Like you bring in the best developers to your office, or have it in an external place where you're going to build something for the community, or build something to make your product better, or pick an open source project and build on top of that. So what really here is the cool factor is the hackathons already attract only the best talent out there. Like, people who are really interested in solving real world challenges, people who are self-motivated, or the folks who are going to come and attend your hackathon. So you already have some sort of a personality check, some sort of a talent check there to understand what kind of talent you're getting there. You can host an online code sprint where it's a virtual hackathon where people can solve coding challenges from anywhere they are. This is even better because with this you can people need not travel to a common place. You can actually scale it to any number of folks. You can have a great, there is no cap on number of folks who can participate in such a code sprint. The third piece is adding a coding challenge to your careers page. So a careers page, right, it's generally boring for most of the companies, and it's because all it gives is a certain set of standard instructions and says go here and fill in this form, and which is going to take your resume, and it's more like a kind of a black box. Like you never know what is going to happen after that. You don't know when people are going to reply back to your resume. So we can have the careers page much more interesting by adding in a coding challenge, adding in some real world problems. So the careers page should talk to the candidates in such a way that if you join my company, these are the interesting challenges you are going to solve, and these are the amazing opportunities we have. And this putting in an online coding challenge attracts tech people. People love challenges. The kind of folks who are on the top always would want to see what are the unique ways in which they can showcase their skills, and this is one great way to do that. And going mobile, this is one thing which gets ignored a lot, even though people understand the importance of mobile. The mobile traffic in India is increasing at ever highest now, and check whether ensuring there are right apps. For example, Indeed is like Indeed app is one of the top business app in the entire app store. So this is because people do search from their mobile. People want to know about the companies, and they do this when they travel or when they're not in front of the computer. So ensure the careers page, the entire ATS, everything is optimized for mobile. Bring in a mobile app. You can do a whole bunch of things which ensures the sourcing is different and is unique than what everyone else is doing out there. Screening is another major pain point for recruiters. Like when a candidate applies for a job, there is already a whole bunch of resumes which they have to compete against a lot of other candidates, and they're always worried that their resume might be lost in the volume. Even a good candidate's resume, it's pretty much possible that because of the amount of volume, your resume might not get noticed enough. And recruiters are always under a pile of resumes to work with, and they don't know who's the best. They end up calling each and everyone, and they have to figure out the right set of candidates for the next process, which is not the right way at all. So the right the truth here is resumes really can't tell if a programmer can code. Like, this resumes are so outdated. Like, it's probably good for maybe just good for getting the contact details of the candidates and nothing else. Like, resumes can't tell anything more than that. So what we need is a clear way to understand the coding skills of a developer, a completely automated engine to evaluate all of this, and of course, we can't use the old pen and paper method anymore, either in campuses or lateral hiring. So the ways to solve this is this. There are 3 clear points there. So to your hiring manager or to the recruiters, you have to, you clearly have to get their specs from them on what you expect from the candidate, and put that out, put the exact tech skills you need to hire there. And your engineering team is the right team to come up with, the tech challenges. Ask them what they are looking for, and ask them to make an automated challenge for the entire process. And when you put this into a process where you are going to give the challenge created by your engineering team to your candidates, it's going to filter out.
Yes, see, nowadays it is like, if reading is one way, reading a resume is one way, ranking people based on coding merit has become another way. So I think, as Hari was mentioning, we will have to give this, candidate a great experience. Nowadays people just want things very fast, very quickly. They need a great experience on how early, they get to know what's happening. So also branding, as I said, continues to play a major role. A well-designed career site to deliver a cohesive brand image that reflects your company mission, vision, value. All this can be, be connected with technology and showcased in a better way. Because a company brand experience in combination with the detailed job description and an online application to it engages the job seekers and helps them determine proactively if they are the best fit to the culture of this organization. I think organizations should take time to look how they are being reviewed on sites as well, like, for example, a Glassdoor, and incorporate all these in the part of their employer branding. As a number of, yes, Hari, I was just talking about the branding. You continue.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I think I'm not sure why it brought up. So so we were talking about the screening piece, and the next one is the interviewing process. And the interviewing process is probably pretty much standard on how it's done today. You probably have one phone screen where you're going to ask some initial primary questions, and you fly down the candidate to your and in the initial phone screen there is not much of coding or technical skills involved. It's just get to know call kind of a thing. And then you would invite these programmers or the developers to your office, where you have like back-to-back 3 to 4 interviews, and you, after all this, you might not hire someone at all. Like you have the cost of flying down someone, and you do have your engineers taking the interview for the whole day, and it may happen that there is no result of this. And if you look at the whiteboard of an interview after an interview session, it looks like something like the image in the right side. Like you have no intelligence out of that. You can't record it, or you can't say what has happened in that particular interview. Either you can quantitatively say like, hey, this is the reason why I like this candidate, or this is the reason why I don't like this candidate. So this is very chaotic, and there is the right way to go about this is to have and use technology for this, like have an online remote interview, which is going to save time and money. You don't have to fly down candidates all the time. Like, you would bring down the candidates only when you are like almost 60% sure that you are going to hire and you just want to see the person, face to face before you roll out an offer. And obviously this, we have a product called CodePair. If you can use Skype, Hangout, whichever works for the company, rather than going by, the typical way of traveling the candidates all the time. This is going to, you can test the ability, the tech talent, even before the candidate would come in. And this also helps candidates. Like candidates, they don't like traveling and then getting rejected. It's better to, respect their time. It's better to optimize for our time, so that the entire process gets much more efficient. So to sum it all up, in all the stages which I have discussed till now, there is a clear product which can or a tool, a product, a process which can make your entire process really better and make it much more efficient. So in this case, like for recruitment or ATSs or taking care of the healthcare piece, candidate engagement or the employee engagement piece, the learning and development, understanding people and analytics, you do have a whole good set of tools these days. It's up to us to learn and use them in the right way, so it's so bad that we call this as the technology age. There is so many new cool stuff coming in, and the processes are stuck with whatever we used to do years and years ago. Summing it up again, every company is a tech company. There is a war for talent, and we have to do something new and update the whole hiring process to stay ahead of the curve. And the technical skills are clearly they are quantifiable. You can optimize your sourcing, the screening, and the interviewing process to ensure the whole pipeline is automated for most of the cases. So this will ensure hiring a rockstar tech team is much more easier than what it is these days. That's all the stuff I had from my end. I guess now we are open to questions. Sumathi, would you like to add in anything, or we can open up for questions?
Hari, I thought nowadays mobile recruitment gets a lot of boost, right? The shift to mobile recruitment solution and the ability to show how different methods work for different demographic. Can you share your views on that as well?
Mobile is getting huge, and especially this increase in the mobile amount is high in India than the other countries these days. And you can get a sense of it from other e-commerce companies, right? Like there are companies which was trying only mobile strategy because they understand that mobile growth is important, and it's time that recruitment also picks this trend and gives equal importance to mobile along with web. So couple of interesting things you can do with mobile is you can ensure like the location is a key there. Like if you for example, like I'm gonna take this example of Bangalore, where you find pockets of developers at key places. Like it's electronic city here in Bangalore. It's going to be Whitefield in Bangalore. So companies actually can act smart if they build the mobile app, and you can actually, based on the location, you'd be able to predict where they are from, where they are working, and a lot more data than what you have now. So you don't. So when someone opens up your app, you have a lot more context about the people than what you would have on a regular web app. And people are like you'd expect, they actually are on mobile most of the time. When you don't expect them to be. Like if they want to quickly check a couple of things about your company, if they want to see how your career page looks like, the transit from work to office, the best place where people keep searching for jobs, and apparently that's where most of the job searching happens. It's not in front of a laptop. It's obviously not going to happen when people are in their office. So it's going to happen after they come home or during this transit. And there's the most of the mobile apps right now, I mean, they are cluttered. It can be made much better. But companies first should adopt the mobile strategy first to ensure, first they should accept the fact that mobile is important, and you have to address this set of folks who are going to visit your careers page or who needs much better attention through mobile. Then you can go out for a strategy either where you build your own careers mobile app, or you make your website more focused for mobile optimized and ensure that gives a better experience there.
Okay, I see that, yes. Nowadays, the trend is like it is a multi-screen recruitment that happens. It also goes beyond mobile and allows for a more complete experience on any and all devices, especially those used at the same time. So, yes, it is an interesting point to see.
Shall we proceed towards the Q&A, or is there anything the speakers would like to add?
I think we could go ahead to the Q&A.
Yeah.
Is it okay with you, Hari?
Yeah, I'm fine. We can move on to the Q&A.
Great. So we have the first question coming from Harishankaran. So the question is, what is the difference between on-premise ERP implementation and cloud-based solutions like SuccessFactors?
So, I mean, if I get it right, they want to understand the difference between an on-premise implementation and a cloud-based, right? So, it really doesn't, I guess for a recruiter, it shouldn't at least, you should not worry about both the implementations because it's probably the IT and the security team which should worry about which way to go about. In terms of the differences, it's whether you want, based on some of the security protocols you have, like what are your internal policies, whether you are okay with your data being stayed on the cloud, or can't it even, you have to make sure it stays in your internal servers. So on-premise, you're going to buy a software which you would probably pay for a year, and you are going to pay for every yearly upgrades types, and someone is going to make sure it comes in. The whole software sits in your company location. The entire data is in under your control, so it doesn't leave your organization at all. Setting up a cloud is easier. They also have their security protocols in place, but the difference is your data is going to leave out of your organization and sit on someone else's servers, which you are hosting for a while. So you can kind of understand what your company allows. Like there are, for example, if you are in, say, banking, or if you are in a healthcare sector, you might be reluctant to go cloud way. But otherwise, for the recruiting team, the talent team, it shouldn't make a huge difference there. Sumathi, would you like to add something there?
No, I think you covered it. So.
Yeah.
Great. So shall I move on to the next question?
Yeah.
So this question is from Raghav Chaudhary, and this is to Sumathi. So he's asking, what is the expectation you have as the head of talent acquisition from the recruitment firm as compared to technologies like HackerRank, especially in niche or leadership level hiring?
Well, from a recruitment firm, I would definitely expect speed and execution. Also intelligence added to that. It's the days that I would expect, how many, also with the market intelligence stating that, how many of them are available, what is needed, what is the sector that we could, what is the closest fit, what is the next fit, that we could look at, these kind of value-added information from the agency or a consultant, especially for leadership hiring, would help us to think, because we just don't think for one position, or as mentioned, there is a scope, there is a wider angle to it. So I would expect more intelligence added to the profile, one, in terms of the profile, two, in terms of the intelligence of the market, along with speed of execution and a bit of analysis from the consultants. I think going forward, that is how the trend would be.
Sure, great. So moving on to the next question, it is coming from Madhulika Makar. She is asking, can you mention any specific remote interviewing platform that are being used by companies?
Remote interviewing happens, as Hari very clearly mentioned also, mobile is again a remote way of doing. Video conferencing is again, remote way of doing. Video interviewing is again a remote way of doing. Nowadays, I think a recruitment happens within 15 minutes. That's what I hear from e-commerce companies. So the speed is so rapid that, it can happen through your mobile. Your basic assessments are also done through it. So these are the different things that's actively happening in the market for remote recruitment.
Yeah, so one of the products which we have is CodePair, which we built for remote interviewing, and most of the inputs for that product comes from our engineering team, because they are the ones who understand the clear in the interviewing process. So it has a way to share the code, and we have a way to run the code in there. So when someone is writing the code, me as an interviewer can check if the code is right or wrong. I can see there is a video conference or a phone call right from the product itself. So any product which which has all of these features, you can go with it.
Great. So the next question is coming from Savio. So he's asking, when will we use platforms like Launch Code and coding boot camps to pick talent? And what is the cost of hiring compared to conventional methods? And in continuation, he has also asked, everyone is selling a platform or app to hire. What are the adverse effects of this? If I get the first part right, it's about Launch Code and boot camps where you do, so that's different, and that's probably the closest way to hire a candidate, where you learn a skill, where you're going to probably learn how to build an app or learn a complete technology from ground up, and at the end, you have an option to connect with the company. Actually, based on what I've seen, companies are really excited to meet folks who come out of a boot camp, or who have done a course in Coursera, or who've gone through a Launch Code session. But what's stopping them right now is the volume. There are only so many things they can do, and so few places where they can focus at this point, and the amount of the volume coming out of these boot camps is not high, and is of course they beat the bar, but the amount of folks the volume is not as much as you would expect from other methods. But still, mentioning these in the resume does add value, and people give more, the amount of thought on your resume when you mention the boot camps and mention the other processes you've been through. So that is going to be one plus factor. In terms of growing this as the mainstream is going to be tricky. There is a cap on the number of folks who can go through these boot camps, and that's one of the restrictions which is always going to be in place, unless the whole process can be made automated, like what Coursera or Udacity is doing. You can't really ensure we can do this on scale. What is the second part of the question?
I think Savio had asked about the cost. I would say cost differs from different organizations. So comparing the cost and what is a cost-effective method. Am I right, Savio? I think that's the question that he asked.
Yes, so he asked what is the cost of hiring compared to conventional methods, and he continued the question saying everybody is selling a platform or app to hire. So what are the adverse effects of this?
I think saving time is also a cost. Having less number of human intervention is also saving of cost. Speed is also cost. So when you compare on all these things and when you run a product is when you will see the cost efficiency that's been working out. Yes, Hari, you could.
Yeah, exactly like whatever you mentioned. In terms of cost, I think you will in overall reduce the cost, but the best thing is you'll put the money in the right process rather than in a process which is going to make the entire recruitment piece efficient. So if you think of cost, if you're able to reduce the number of folks flying down to your office, or if you're able to save the interviewer time, these all add up and they are going to end up in an efficient organization. So the right way to think about it is, am I putting my money in the right processes and the right infrastructure, and frankly ensuring that your sourcing and the screening and the interview process, this is going to save by a huge factor when your whole process is completely streamlined.
Great. So next question is coming from Amit Joseph. So he is asking, we are speaking about being present on mobile. A lot of companies are adopting mobile-first strategies. However, the recent experience in the e-commerce companies are a testimony to developing economies like India averse to a mobile-only strategy. What are the views of panel in terms of how mobile is going to influence the next evolution in hiring and assessment?
I guess India being against the mobile-only strategy comes from probably Myntra, which is again going back to the mobile web strategy as well. So one thing we have to accept is this: mobile is going to play a big piece. Like you are going to miss out on a lot of opportunities if you don't take care of the mobile part. So whether it's mobile first or your web first is the question, right? And right now, the way companies are doing is ensuring the mobile experience is not so bad. It's as great as your web experience, but may not invest in a complete mobile app type. So it's not going to leave all the mobile folks, but they're going to get a better experience than what they would have otherwise done. In terms of this influencing in hiring and assessments, as I've said, a lot of job search happens on mobile. Like the right place for someone to search for the job is on their way from the office to home or home to office. And with the boom in the entire mobile industry, it's only going to get higher and higher from here. Assessments, especially I would say coding assessments, are a little tricky in mobile, but you can do a whole lot of other psychometric or people learning for their the interview or learning for the job experience, knowing more about the company. You can kind of like have a quick pop quiz about like what do you know about this company type. Like the company mobile app can like you can have you can have a small quick pop quiz about understanding more about the company you're applying for. Like I mentioned, Indeed is again one of the top business apps. Even we have an app called HackerRank Jobs, where we are seeing people searching for jobs around that area where they want to move. So mobile is getting better, and you can't ignore it. And soon, maybe if not now, soon it will end up being mobile first and then web.
Yeah, I think shift to mobile is increasing, into this global workforce, because as Hari said, it especially helps in an outstation drive that you have, At an entry level, it is much more easier, or if you're having an outstation drive wherein, at an entry level, you will have to do a basic assessment, So through mobile, there are enough apps that support you, initial assessment, and you can also get to see, then and there the results come out, the feedback comes out, the summary comes out. So it is very easy to use these mobile app, especially for the outstation drives that you have.
Sure. So moving on to the next question, it is coming from Avantika and it is for Hari. What is the effort required to arrange a hackathon in a company? And what if the best hacker is not interested in your company? Then the whole money is lost.
Yeah, I mean, this probably is in some way related to you have that risk. But I somehow believe the risks are lesser than the other conventional methods. So the best practices is this, right? You would pick one of the teams which would attract a lot of developers, and you probably have some mentors in your company who can also help the folks who are coming in those domains. So you will kind of have this interviewing happening when your team talks to the people who are coming to your office, but it's not an actual standard interview process. It's what we call as a tech talk, right? Like two tech folks are talking, and by the end of the session, they would know how good they are in the particular domains. I've seen generally when it comes to developers, you would get them stuff which are gonna, we have done 24-hour hackathon, 48 hours, and nobody kind of goes more than 48 hours. So it can be a weekend drive where you pick a particular topic which is gonna solve, which your team is working on, and standard, technical folks term, like you would want stuff which is going to, you get a lot of caffeine, you'll get a lot of Red Bulls, you'll ensure people are fed enough for the whole event, and that's pretty much the process we do. So in our company, when we do this, we find the energy in the team itself going up really high when they say, hey, there is this hackathon, and they invite their friends. And when we chase them for referrals, they don't do it. But when we say, hey, there is a hackathon, bring your friends, bring the technical folks who are ready to solve this puzzle or who are ready to solve this challenge, they bring in a good amount of crowd. The virtual hackathons is a different piece. Like there, you would have a clear process of sign up period. So you would start marketing at various places, and there you can pretty much predict the number. It's risk free there. You would know that if 1,000 folks are signed up, for your event, you would at least get like 600 to 700 people actually participating in the event. And both of these are great employer branding as well. Like you would certainly attract folks who hear about your hackathon at various places, like people who might not have come to your hackathon or might not have participated in that, but hear it from their friend or their friend's network, and they would want to join the next hackathon type. So it's not as risky as it sounds like. Yeah, but there is always this unknown factor, which is pretty much there in any process out there.
Sure. Thank you so much for answering that. And the next question is for Sumathi, and this is coming from Raghav Chaudhary. He's asking, when closing a position or a mandate, what is the most important factor considered in from a company? Is it time taken to close, variety of candidates seen, cost incurred, or anything else?
Definitely all of what he said, but more important is time taken to close, quality that you bring in to the table, quality of candidates where there is a right fit and the business could use them appropriately. So that is something very important that we need to keep in mind. Cost of hiring. So I would say bring in the right candidate at the right time, at the right quality will be a very important part in sourcing.
Great, great. Thank you, Sumathi, for answering that. So the next question is coming from Rashmi Sharma. So she wants to know what are the latest trends in hiring and which is the most potent tool in sourcing being used for top slots, that is the CXO suite.
There are quite a lot of tools that are now available, especially for sourcing. Sourcing through different, portals or social media or community, which these tool connects and, gets to the hiring team. So sourcing plays a very important role. The trend is, like as we all discussed, there are different trends that's happening. There are trends in employee referral, which again you have good tools supporting, as Hari spoke sometime on mobile recruitment, on social media. Quite a lot is happening. We hear a lot on cloud-based hiring. We hear on biometric. So there are quite a lot that is available in the market, which helps or makes the recruiter's life much easier and simpler, which is a cost-effective method, because it's all about automation and digitalization.
Great. Thank you for answering that, Sumathi. So we are going to take the last question for the webinar today, and this is coming from Asmita Bhalla. So she's saying, as far as mobile app is concerned, we understand it will be beneficial when there is volume recruitment. What do you suggest for manufacturing industry, where there are very few but niche requirements?
See, again, it depends. All this is available for us, for recruiters to use it effectively. If your candidate is, in a remote location or very rare or niche skill where you have to use a video, recruiting, use that methodology. Or if your candidate is a passive or potential passive candidate, use this more social media to, get them or connect or engage with them. So it is a recruiter's discretion to see the effective channel methodology to analyze and see which would be the effective channels.
Hari, would you like to add anything to that?
Sumathi pretty much covered all of it. I think there are right solutions out there. It doesn't matter if it's niche or it's not about the volume. It's about introducing the right processes. So that's pretty much.
Sure, great. Thank you so much. And with this question and answer session, we are going to wrap up today's webinar. Once again, we thank today's webinar partner, HackerRank. Also, a big thanks to our speakers, Sumathi Sampath and Harishankaran Karunanidhi, for this webinar and the amazing insights that they had shared with us today. And I would like to thank everyone in the webinar audience for participating in today's presentation. We will come back to you with many more. We will be uploading the webcast on People Matters website shortly, so please stay tuned. This concludes today's webcast. Thank you all and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.